We're going to talk about this big article from the New Yorker, and it's all about the downfall of the Daily Wire. And finally, someone has reported on this. I think we covered this a few weeks ago. It was earlier in the year that Daily Wire announced a round of major layoffs. We don't know how substantial they were, but some people are saying it was 50% of their staff from across the board, but concentrated in their Nashville headquarters. So they lost a ton of people. Simultaneously, everybody is pointing out how Daily Wire just doesn't get views anymore. If you look at their YouTube channel, if you look at Shapiro's show in particular, their viewership, new subscribers have taken a massive dive. Viewership is a disaster, and they're just not gaining subscribers at all. They're actually losing subscribers every month. And this is a really big deal because everybody, I think, looks at the conservative media landscape, and maybe they don't understand exactly the dynamics that are going on there. But for those that do not know, at one point in time, Daily Wire was the biggest, the richest, the most substantial conservative media outlet in the ecosystem. Cannot be overstated. Do you know that at one point in time, Daily Wire was the #1 English language publisher on all of Facebook? Facebook is the biggest platform in the world, 3 billion active users. I believe YouTube is at 2.5 billion, Instagram's at 1.5 billion. It's been a long time since I looked at these numbers. They might have changed. But Facebook is by far and away the biggest. Now, you would suspect that because conservatives are censored and canceled, and there's this big problem of ideological editorial censorship on the internet, you might think that Daily Wire, like the rest of us, might be struggling or might be suppressed. It's the opposite. Daily Wire had a deal with all these big tech companies. At least this is what was represented to me by people in the know. They had a deal with YouTube. They had a deal with Facebook. And at Facebook, they became, for several years in a row, the #1 publisher on the entire platform. Not the #1 conservative publisher, not the #1 political publisher. They were bigger than CNN, bigger than the New York Times on liberal Facebook. They were making $100 million a year, selling razors, chocolate bars, T-shirts, movies. They thought they were going to be Hollywood. And now it looks like they are on the brink of collapse. Now, this is the article. We're going to read through it and then talk about some of the significance of it. It says, quote, "There was a time not very long ago when Ben Shapiro could reasonably call himself the king of all conservative media. In 2020, as Drew Harwell at the Washington Post explains, Shapiro's media company, the Daily Wire, ranked as Facebook's top English language publisher for 3 straight months. Its sarcastic news items on then House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's salon visit gained millions more views than the websites of Fox News, CNN, and the New York Times. Shapiro himself was ubiquitous, a right-wing star who had risen to fame before Donald Trump and seamlessly adapted to the MAGA takeover of the Republican Party. He was a digital battering ram against Democrats and the progressive left. He seemed guaranteed, like Fox itself, for an indefinite run at the top of the media heap. That's all over now. The Daily Wire is instituting significant layoffs. Its website has emerged as one of the great traffic losers in conservative media. Meanwhile, the company has seen its subscriber base on YouTube starting to shrink. There are Daily Wire YouTube videos that now, after a few days online, have fewer than 10,000 views. 10,000 views. A catastrophically small number for a channel with 3 million subscribers. The top comments all mock the low view counts. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. If a variety of poor business decisions can be blamed in part for the Daily Wire's downfall, ill-fated investments in feature films and epic fantasy series and peculiar merchandise, the greater story is the collapse of Shapiro's constituency, especially among the young media consumers who once fueled the Daily Wire's runaway growth. There are 2 realities to Shapiro conservatism in 2026. It retains a significant foothold among Republican elites, At the same time, it is fast being rejected by the future grassroots of the party. Shapiro, an Orthodox Jew, is fiercely pro-Israel. His support for Israel and hatred of the Palestinian cause are issues that define him as a political figure. He is an unequivocal backer of Netanyahu's Israel and a committed conventional neoconservative. He has been predictably thrilled by Trump's war against Iran. Also a fiscal libertarian and social conservative, Shapiro once sat at the happy median of the Republican voter and could claim, at least in the 2010s, that he understood the beating heart of campus conservatism. No longer. The anti-Israel, anti-Semitic groypers, led by Nick Fuentes, are in ascendance. Candace Owens, who once worked with Shapiro at the Daily Wire, now boasts a YouTube channel larger than his, where she's indulged in anti-Israel conspiracy theories, warred with Charlie Kirk's widow, and even broken with Trump without suffering any financial consequences. It's just me and Candace. It's always should have just been about me and Candace Owens. Look at us again. Here we are reuniting on Daily Wire's grave. Yo, Candace, I gotta take a piss. Where's Ben Shapiro's grave? Candace, I gotta go to the bathroom. Quick, where's Ben Shapiro's grave? I gotta take a leak. It should have always just been about me and Candace Owens. We're like Bonnie and Clyde, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Ebony and Ivory. You can't have one without the other. Anyway, that's besides the point. Isn't it funny, though? Together again, united in the article. It goes on. It says, beyond Owens and Fuentes, Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly have found massive audiences of their own brand of conspiratorial commentary that marries Israel skepticism and isolationist advocacy. Carlson and Kelly have loudly opposed the war in Iran. Trump reviles them, but neither ex-Fox talking head has backed down. Carlson seems to be moving on from Trump completely. The collapse of the Daily Wire can be seen as a dire warning for traditional Republicans. Young conservatives are looking on as the Iran war rapidly devolves into a quagmire and seeing all the damage it has wrought. They view this as an outgrowth of Israeli foreign policy, and they don't like it. In a post-Trump future, they'll have little desire to repeat these interventions. Like the Rockefeller Republicans of yore, the Shapiro Republican could go extinct entirely. Guys, after 9 long years, 9 years, we won. We finally won.
Ben Shapiro is completely done. What happened to Ben Shapiro was when the big man in the NBA, when he was just a big man and he couldn't shoot the jump shot, they got him out of there. He's just like that. When 10 years ago it was cool to be pro-Israel. But what happened was it started to lean away from him. And instead of adapting, he leaned further and further into it. So that's the reason why he's dying. Do I think that a big donor is going to come in and save him? I still think it's over. Everybody's leaning more towards the Nick Fuentes, not pro-Israel, not having, government bailouts and with Netanyahu. Nobody wants that anymore. We want to stay out of foreign wars. So he pretty much lost the American people. Once we figured out that Ben Shapiro was a fraud and he was Israel first and not America first, he lost everything. So even though he has 2-3 million subscribers, those are dead. Nick Fuentes is correct on this one, but I honestly don't think there's a rebound for him. Once they shut it down, it's over. Even if he got a bailout, it's over. Anyways, like, follow, subscribe.